What's up guys, so for this video I'm going to be telling a story about the time a guy from my high school attempted to set me on fire. So let's begin telling the story. It begins with me travelling to school by a public bus. I get to school, nothing happens during school, it's after school ends is where the story time takes place. So me and Demarius, yes that's the guy that tried to set me on fire, myself and Demarius are travelling to the bus stop where both of us would usually wait at to catch our bus. Nothing happens before we get there. It's when both of us get to the bus stop is where this story time really unfolds. Demarius was mostly a chill guy for the most part, but when he did this it really made me think, why did he do this? And I didn't really like him because of this. While myself and him are waiting for the bus, we just start talking. I don't remember what it was, but we start talking, and all of a sudden Demarius brings out a lighter out of his coat pocket and he shows it to me, and I don't think much of it. The thing that was strange to me was he had nothing to use the lighter for, no cigarette, nothing. He probably forgot to empty it at home, so that's why he had a lighter in his pocket. Now the thing is, Demarius starts saying, I want to try something with his lighter. That to me was very sketchy, because what could he have meant by that? Unfortunately, Demarius starts putting the lighter in front of my chest, literally like trying his best to set me on fire for no fucking reason whatsoever. This maniac thought it would be a great idea to use a lighter, light it on my coat while laughing his arse off while he is trying his best to set me on fire, which is just absolutely crazy of him to do that. I should also mention Demarius was in his second year of sixth form and I was in year 9 when this happened. Luckily the crazy individual wasn't able to successfully light up the lighter and light my coat on fire. The guy kept trying multiple times to successfully light up the lighter. It didn't work. After he kept failing for more than 5 times, the loser finally gave up. I think his goal was to try to set me on fire and then blow out the fire that is on my coat if he had successfully executed his plan to set my coat on fire. Or what the loser would have done is just point and laugh at me while I am blowing out. I don't want to imagine what would have happened if he had successfully lighted my coat on fire, but it really goes to show just how twisted Demarius was for thinking this was a good idea. The psychopath proceeds to ask, did you enjoy that? Which obviously no one's gonna enjoy the feeling of somebody trying to set them on fire. Obviously I said no, I didn't enjoy that. The thing is, he is laughing while saying that. He is that crazy. I'm surprised people that saw this at the bus stop both of us were waiting at while this was going down thought to call the cops, or at least run over and scream at him, telling him, what the fuck are you doing? What is wrong with you? Why would you light this person on fire? Are you fucking stupid? And witnesses asking if I'm okay. Shortly after this happened, 2 buses pull up. There was one bus at the front and the other one behind it. Now I have 2 choices here. I can get on the bus in front and sit with Demarius, or I can get on the bus that is at the back and just avoid being near Demarius after what he did. I chose to get on the bus in front of the second bus because the second bus would lead to somewhere else, I think. I don't remember very well, but I believe the bus at the back would lead to somewhere else, which is not the bus I want to get on. So I board the bus at the front with this crazy person, Demarius. Both of us sit next to each other on the bus. We don't say a word to each other. Demarius is pretty much acting like nothing happened by staying absolutely silent, and I'm pissed with him because he decided it would be funny to try to set my coat on fire. The last stop approaches, both of us get off, Demarius goes the other way and says, "Have a good weekend," and yes, this was a Friday. It's just him trying to act like he didn't try to set me on fire, and I respond with, "Yeah, see you," but I'm obviously annoyed with him because of what he just did. I say this before I go to the bus stop. I need to wait to head to my grandparents' house and board the bus that I need to get there. So after I board the bus, I get there, and after I go home at my grandparents' house, I tell my mum that Demarius tried to set me on fire. She was freaking out. She tells me she'll ring my form teacher and tell him about this, and speak with him about what Demarius did. So the form teacher I had wanted both of us to come into the building and speak with us, basically have a meeting about this. So both of us travel all the way to school. We get there, we meet the form teacher I had at the time in my high school. He tells us to come in to this private room and we do that. Then he asks, "So what happened?" So I basically just told him, like, Demarius tried to set me on fire, and he asks where this all took place. I said, this street at the bus stop both of us were waiting at. The teacher tells both of us that he's going to be speaking with Demarius about this. I'm assuming the teachers really screamed at him, or the teacher I had was screaming at this psychopath by himself. I don't know, because I wasn't there to listen to this commotion. I did tell a few people in my class this. So you know when you tell somebody or a group of people something, but they say what you have said to them loudly? Yeah, that's what these fuckers did. Plus they repeated this outside of the teacher's classroom, and he heard this, by the way. I was annoyed when these guys said this out loud. I said this as quietly as possible just so the teacher couldn't hear it. I brought this up to a few more people, but they didn't make a huge fuss about it. I mentioned this because the form teacher and me and my mum were called into the private room after school finishes. So the teacher says, "Hey, you shouldn't have brought up the fact that Demarius tried to set you on fire to other people." Plus my mum chimes in and says, "Yeah, you shouldn't have told people this because they can easily spread it around and the issue would get worse and worse and more people would find out about it because it's a domino effect and word spreads." They were not wrong in saying this to me because that is true. I did this because I wanted to let other people know about this, and it actually made me feel better that I told other people, especially my friends. I mean, the people that I told, that being my friends, I thought I could count on them to keep it a secret, but they couldn't do that because they're pretty shit at keeping secrets and they're very fake friends. Plus they repeat things you have told them about somebody or group of people you have an issue with very loudly. Just be careful of who you trust with any secret you share with them. So the teacher proceeds to say a really dumb thing. He proceeds to say, "So we're not going to expel Demarius because he didn't try to set you on fire on school premises." What the fuck is the teacher on about? Like, why would Demarius try to set me on fire on school grounds when there's people and staff members around? Like, if he did try and do that on school grounds, people are just gonna fucking spread it around like wildfire. The guy should have been expelled because you can't light people on fire. Let's say if somebody is working at a factory and then their co-worker found out that the person, let's just use Demarius as an example, tried to set another person on fire and the co-worker found out and told the managers, he would be kicked out of there immediately. Or if he was in another school and he did this to another student, the right thing to do would be to kick him out or contact the police about Demarius trying to set another person on fire because that's a crime and he can get seriously charged for it. I'm very surprised the teachers didn't even have enough common sense to call the police officers, like 2 police officers, have them come into the school and have them talk to me and my mum and see if we want to press charges against Demarius and have him be arrested alongside having a criminal record. These teachers are really stupid. Like, they should have expelled Demarius because it doesn't matter if it happened on school premises or not. Setting people on fire, or at least trying to set them on fire, is downright psychotic. You know, the teachers really gave Demarius a free pass here instead of kicking him out and getting the police involved to really fuck his life up for this mistake. These dumb motherfuckers didn't even bother to suspend him from school either, although it would have been much better if he had been kicked out and charged for trying to set somebody on fire. Like, you can't set people and things on fire because that's a crime. These dumbass teachers really just said, fuck it, we're just gonna yell at him and hope that solves everything, which Demarius never did that ever again. Plus, he never brought a lighter ever again, probably because the teachers told him, don't bring a lighter to school ever again. I don't know if my mum and I would press charges and make sure Demarius gets thrown in jail because of what he did. I'm not too sure because it's a lengthy process. You know, if the teachers had done the most common sense thing and got the police involved and basically told them that Demarius tried to set me on fire, me and my mum would definitely press charges if this was to lead to the police force getting involved. The high school I went to is dog shit, but the teachers really could have done the most basic thing, and that was to contact the police officers and see if my mum and I would press charges and make sure Demarius goes to jail and gets a criminal record. Plus, they kick him out of the school. But these dumb fuck teachers did none of this because it didn't happen on school premises. For some reason, it has to happen on school premises. For these retards to be like, oh shit, let's kick out Demarius or any other individual that tries to set another student on fire or another person on fire, then get the police involved and see if that individual wants to make sure they face jail time and a criminal record. But instead, these dumb fuck teachers did none of that. For some reason, I went to a school full of retarded teachers that don't have common sense whatsoever. If Demarius was in another college, or if he was at a workplace and another person caught him trying to set another person on fire, he would be screwed. Like, he would get kicked out of the college. He would not only get kicked out of the college, he would be fucked because he would go to jail for trying to set somebody on fire. But he got off scot-free, unfortunately. Anyway, that's the end of the story. One of the worst things I have ever experienced in my life. I was very shocked at the time when this happened to me. It's still shocking, even though it happened 9 years ago. I still don't understand what goes through somebody's mind to make them think, yeah, you know, let's try and set somebody on fire, that would be funny, and then laugh their ass off while they're trying to set another person on fire. That's just psychotic as fuck. You have to be fucked in the head to think this is okay. Anyway, that's the end of the story of how I almost got set on fire by another psychotic individual that thought it was funny to do this to begin with. Morals of the story are, don't set people and things on fire, and if you are a teacher and you hear a student or students try to set people and things on fire, expel them from your school, and don't do what these dumbass teachers did, which was just yell at them and hope it works. Plus, get the police involved and ask the person if they want to press charges against the individual or not. Because it's a crime and you're putting somebody else's life in danger when you try to set them on fire. These teachers are dog shit at their job. Anyway, see you all in the next one. Take care.